Alright, humans and aliens. Okay, so somewhere in other space somewhere is watching these videos, so things are going to get excited as we are going to start adding components. So let's add the menu component, and to create it, what I have done is open a terminal, and by the way, the app is already running and I don't have to show you guys that. So I'm already in the root app folder, and what I can do to generate a component is ng generate component, and we'll just call it menu because that's the most appropriate name. So I'm creating the menu component, and what I'm saying is the m means -m means in which module I'm declaring it, and the module that I'm declaring it in is the app, which is the root module. So I'm gonna hit enter, and you can see on the left side that if I select it, I guess if I come here, sorry, so if I open the app folder, you can see the menu folder. So Angular creates a folder for you for your component, and which you got your CSS file, your HTML file, you got a spec.ts file, which is a test file, and then the main class of your component. Since we will not be doing any tests, so I will delete that happily. There you go. Now, so here's your component, and basically it's nothing but a class. So let's talk about, I guess, components and modules. You know, I promised I will, so I should. So every Angular app has a root module, and it's this one. And remember when I specified that -m switch, and then I said the name of the module, it was this one. So you don't set the full app module, you just specify the first, I guess, whatever name it is. So what it did is added this import statement, and the other is is declared in the this array, declarations array. Now you must be asking, well, we specified menu, how come it says menu component? Well, that's the name of our class. So if you hit the control key on your keyboard, and you can get a preview, this is your class, but I can also click it and it will take me into that class, and then you can see that we specified menu, but Angular adds the component to it. So make sure when you are creating your class component, don't add the component word, because it's going to be like menu component, and that's a little bit confusing. So just remember just the name, whatever name you have. So we added that. So that's what it does. It does your root module, and your root module it's basically importing that menu component. Now in the root module, you bootstrap your app component, and your app component, that's your root view actually. So your root view will host other views. So if you create other views, and as we will see with this menu, that we're going to be hosting it here. So if I go to my this is my root view, and we define our first page here. Later on we're going to put this into its own component, which will be the home component. So now, how does a view get rendered? Right, so if I go to the menu component, you can see that every component has right above it, the class has a metadata, and the metadata actually specifies, you know, what selector to use and what template and what CSS. So this is a CSS file, which is right here. This is the HTML file, and this is what the user sees. But then the way it's going to get targeted is through this tag, right? The app-menu. So if I let's say I open this guy, and I come here and I say app-menu, I save it. You see how it rendered that menu HTML for us. So that's what it is. See, menu works. So basically everywhere it sees this tag, it's gonna render that menu works, and Angular is doing all the hard work for us and rendering our view. So Angular is actually a modular system, and what this means is that your app can be split into different feature modules where different developers can work on each module and then combine them together, so that you can work in parallel. So example, you have, say, an online booking, order entry, appointment reminder, and your website, like a full-blown app. So all of these can be then broken into separate modules, and each module can then have one or more components, and then every Angular app, as I said, has a root module and a root component. And then a component is nothing but just a class, as we saw here, and the component is where you put your logic, your business rules and everything. And the component goes with an HTML file, which is like your view, because that's what the user sees and they can interact with. So a component might, for example, fetch data from a server, say today's weather, and then display that using a view. And a view should not have any actually logic in it. It should be like very dumb and plain as it can be. So then you might be asking, well, then how does the view and component talk to each other? That's where you define properties and methods and events, and those that's how the component and the view, they talk to each other. We will see example of these. And as you move, say, within a website from page to page, Angular is going to take care of initiating and destroying the components for you. So what I have is just a simple illustration. So as I said, you have a component which is just a TypeScript file. That's where the business logic goes. This has then an HTML file, which is like a view, and the way they talk to each other is through methods, properties, and events. Your component then gets data through services, and the services could be then that they talk to the outside world, so it could be HTTP or data loading, or it could be just loading fake data. These services then get injected into your components through dependency injection. That's what the DI stands for. So the DI container, Angular has its own DI container, I think, and that's what it uses to inject services. So basically what it is dependency injection is basically saying that, oh, if you need something, I will give it to you, and that's how it works basically. It's a fancy term for a very simple concept. Now all of this then is encapsulated in a module, and this thing then creates one functional unit. That's what it is. So then, as I said, say in that appointment booking system, you can have a view where the users can see appointments and they can book appointments, and then when they click on a button, say book, then that's gonna trigger an event. That event is gonna go to your component. The component is then gonna fire, say, some call outside to a database or wherever it has to go to check that if that date is available, or it wants to book that. Then it's going to get a reply. Once it gets a reply, then what it's going to do is update the view telling the user that appointment has been booked. So that's pretty much what components and views are. If you want more info, you can always go to angular.io and read more about components and blah blah blah. So my head is about to explode. I don't know about yours, so why don't we start writing some code, and I think in the next video we can start creating the menu. So I'll see you guys next.